Hello and welcome to another part of the vlog. Modding the Joe Trohman with your host Eamon Standing. Basically, I just finished all the electronics. It's actually already been in the guitar. I'll just show you here. I had to play around with it, and I came to a conclusion that I'm not actually going to do a characterising the baritone video because I have a limited amount of components and I got it right the first time and I don't want to accidentally break the rest of my components. But yeah. Here's the wiring assembly. I'll draw a nice diagram. It's not the neatest job, but it's pretty damn complicated, and it's pretty much the neatest I could get it with my resources. So basically, the concentration of this video is going to be kind of prepping, putting the guitar back together. So over here we have the guitar body with the lovely finished cavities. Here's the bridge wire, which is still in there at the moment because I was playing it and it was really nice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shield these cavities the non-painted way, which is with copper foil. But first what we're going to do is, as you can still see, there's all of these lines. Actually, no, we'll shield the cavities first and then we'll clean the guitar. The cleaning the guitar is pretty easy. It's just with like Mr. Sheen and one of those yellow cloths with the red border. But yes, I suppose what we'll do now is just shield the cavity. And a quick tip: after you've done the electronics, you want to make sure you cable tie stuff so that it fits into those cavities really easily. Otherwise, you'll have a nightmare poking every loose wire. And if it didn't fit into the cavity pretty well last time, so that's nice. So yes, on to shielding a guitar. It's the guitar, and here is some copper tape. You don't need to use copper tape. You can use kitchen foil. You can use aluminium tape. You can use the the conductive paint. But the important thing is that you're shielding the cavities and it stops noise getting in to a certain extent. And out, I guess you could say as well. Not that the guitar is going to be producing that much of its own noise that's going to interfere with your other electronics. So yes, basically what you want to do is you want to get a little bit of this tape and just line the cavities with it, and then you also want to make some form of connection to the rest of this cavity. So what I'd usually do is solder. If it was all of this, I'd put a tiny dot of solder between points, but that's not going to happen in this case because I'm not going to be able to solder to paint. So what I'll probably do is just loop it back slightly on itself so that it's touching the cavity, and then clamp it in with a little screw or something. But yeah, we'll get to that after I've put it in. One of the other tips is that if you put it in the cavity like this, you can see that this is actually sticking up. So what you want to do is just get a knife and cut it and fold it down in places where it does that. So I'm just going to get a knife in a second. Also, another trick tip is make sure your bridge wire is still long enough to get to a ground point, because originally when I tried to put the guitar together, I put it to the part that it originally was on, and basically I couldn't get the pick guard on because it wouldn't actually go around enough, so I ended up putting it to one of the ground points here. That's another little trick. Okay, so that cavity has been done, but as you can see we have a very thin cavity here, and there's no way I'm going to be able to get that tape down there very well. So what you can do, well, I might be able to get the tape down there, I'll give it a try. But what you can do is use some kitchen foil, wrap whichever section of wire is going to be going through that section, and just wrap that in foil, and it'll do the same thing. Also, if it wasn't already obvious, this tape is made of copper, and copper's metal, and if it cuts you, it's going to cut quite a bit worse than a paper cut, and it's going to hurt. So be quite careful when you're doing that. I mean, this is quite a lot thicker than kitchen foil, and I think I almost cut myself a couple of times, and it's like getting cut by a kitchen knife, so I wouldn't, and not a sharp one. So yeah, just be careful. I haven't used this for quite a while in this way, and I've completely forgotten that. So don't make the same mistake I did. Cool, so that's the cavities done, except what I need to do now is what I'm going to do is just make sure it's all joined up. So with the soldering iron, my finger is now in frame, I'm just going to do some little spot solders on various places, just to make sure it's continued, got some good continuity. The only other thing that's a little bit devious is obviously I can't do it between paint and copper. So what I've been doing is folding the tape back on itself and then just like pressuring it down, which should work. I mean, the wavelength of noise is much bigger than this, so it should be fine. And technically, this kind of stuff should be connected to the top, the underside of here. If you want to make a proper Faraday cage, because otherwise you can get planar wave radiation in that way. But it's fine. That's like radio wave stuff. And to be honest, if I get radio waves coming into my guitar, it's too funny to be pissed off about. So, so yeah, I'm just gonna do a little bit of spots. I did manage to in the end to get the foil down there. Then I'll move on to a slight other concern to do with shielding. Okay, so those are done. I mean, let me stress that you don't actually have to shield a guitar. I've seen plenty of guitars that aren't shielded. The main thing is just connecting the bridge to, or the string system to ground, just for safety. But it's something that I've seen done. I've done it before, and I thought I should probably do it properly and show you guys how to do it. And then, one thing you need to remember is that this, that's not it. If you remember from the earlier video, there was like a little loop that screwed in there. Just make sure that you know where the hole is, and you can screw back into the shield. That's a main thing. Another bit to remember is, yes, now you can see that we've shielded these cavities, so obviously they're now electrically conducting, and they will eventually be at ground. So what you need to do is, if you have any suspicion that these are going to short out, you just need to mask those off with something. So I think that technically they probably won't. They probably won't short. Because I planned it quite well. I'll just show you how. I'll just do it with some masking tape or electrical tape, and then. It seems kind of counterintuitive, but no matter what, this is still a shield, electrically. Yes, the other thing to remember is that if you don't have like one of these to connect this shield to this shield, what I did on the Crow was I had like a little tab coming up, like here, of foil, and then there was the master grounding screw that kind of did the master connection between the pickguard shield and the body shield, but it's the same principle. So let's mask up that cavity quickly. Okay, with the washing machine going in the background. Yes. So yeah, I've just basically put some masking tape into the cavities. And let me stress again, this isn't a normal thing that you do, but if you think about it, if you're going to cram a load of extra stuff into an electrical cavity, then sometimes something's going to touch the sides. And it's like operation. If something touches the sides, most of the time, it's not fun. I mean, it's perfectly safe. It just means you usually don't get any sound, or the wrong sound. But this is just a countermeasurement against that. So that's pretty much how you should do cavity shielding. And what I'm going to do now is I won't show you how to do it because it's the same as polishing any bit of furniture. Not saying the guitar is a piece of furniture, but essentially it is a piece of furniture. in the construction wise. Piece of very nice sounding furniture. So I'm just going to go and buff this with some just normal Mr. Sheen type stuff. Nothing too abrasive. Nothing abrasive. And just get one of those little nice cloths and just make it all nice and shiny. And then we can put the electronics in and put it back together and stuff, and then it'll be all nice and yummy. So see you in a bit. Okay, so the guitar has been cleaned. It's nice and sheeny. Nice. And I've literally just a couple seconds ago just soldered the last couple of bits in, namely the wire that goes to the bridge, and then just the two jack wires. So yeah, now I just put it back together, and it's basically the opposite of the second video. We'll see how it sounds again. Welcome to the last bit that I can think of. As you can see, the guitar is all nicely working, and next time it will be a reviewy type thing. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is the intonation. So usually I check that by the 12th fret and on the crow the 24th. Especially you play that, you play it an octave up, you have to and if this is sharper, you want to move the saddle back. If it's flatter, you want to move it forward. Another way to check is by playing the harmonic at the 12th fret and then the 12th fret there, which is the way I usually do it. But technically, I think harmonic octave isn't quite the same as a real octave. You can also do it on the 19th fret as well. But yeah, that's basically how you check your intonation. You remember, if the fret is sharper than the harmonic, then you move it back, and if it's flatter, you move it forward on the bridge. And yeah, action, just set the action how you like it. On this one, it's got pretty much the standard setup action. It's like a little bit of a radius. On the crow I have an inverse radius slightly. It just helps with a couple of things that I do. Sometimes I set them up quite flat. Yeah, that's the guitar. And the last thing to do really is just peel off the protective coating on the pickguard and put the knobs on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So the next segment will be the actual functions of the guitar and stuff. There's something that I think I've forgotten, but I can't remember what it is. Oh yes, when you're doing the wiring up, before you plug it into an amp and destroy it, what you want to do is you want to put a jack in, then go onto the end of one of these jacks. I'll turn my amp off. Yeah. You want to put a multimeter between the ground and the tip, and just check by switching each of your pickups on and off, that there becomes the resistant value of the pickup between them. Make sure your volume is rolled all the way up, otherwise it won't be there. But set your meter to like 200k or something, or auto, and just make sure everything's doing what you think it's doing, and if it's not, go inside and understand why. But that'll be covered in the wiring segment. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this segment. Thank you for sticking around to see me modding. It's been really fun. I need to put new strings on it. I'll redo the intonation once I put some new strings on it. But I also need to just put on the knobs. Oh, remember to put the knobs on in the right orientation, because if you don't, then you're gonna feel really, really dumb. So yes, ciao for now, and thanks for watching. Oh, here we are, the mod finished. Intonation done. We have Joe Trohman signature model, modded by me, aim and standing. and with all the quips that I wanted to put on, there as promised. So we have North Coil, Humbucker, South Coil for both humbuckers. The pickup switch has been replaced from here, the rotary knob, with series parallel relationships between these pairs, and then off on in one phase to reverse. We have a master volume, have a master tone, and we have a nice baritone with bypass, treble bleed mod on the volume, and 3 chokes. So you'll get to hear it in the next segment, but yes, that is the mod done. It's very nice. The sonic possibilities on this are absolutely insane. But you'll hear that later. This has been such a fun project. Yes, it is it's done. So I guess I've got to find something else to make and do some Jefferson Tidley. We'll have another segment, obviously, on playing it and seeing how it really sounds with the Marshall. But yeah, all a great project, and didn't take me long. A couple quirks here and there on the wiring. I forgot about a couple of things, but the playability is fine. There's especially I didn't account for the fact that if I turn a pickup off, if you put it in parallel, it grounds the whole system. And I don't want to put bleed resistors in. But basically, as a rule of thumb, everything has to be in series unless you turn on both pairs. But I'll show you how it all goes in the playing video. It's it was a little bit drawing back a little bit, but it's fine. It's just as playable as it was, and it's no less confusing than it actually was before. So yeah, all in all, very happy, and I'll bid you a ciao for now, and yeah, next video we'll be playing. It'll be cool.